Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to a brand new video. And today we are going to be bringing you a Diego Simeone 4-4-2 Football Manager 22 tactic. A lot of 22s in there, but this tactic is a tactic that was meant to come out a while ago, but I've just about made it, and it is really fun to use. Now, with this tactic, you're not going to be scoring loads of goals, but it is very, very defensively solid, and definitely more of a sort of formation or tactic you use to sort of catch teams out on the break, etc., as it was in real life, as that was the style of the tactic. But if you guys do enjoy these videos, please do leave a like on the video. Be sure to comment on what manager you want to see rebuilt next, or sort of based around at least. And please do subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content. But let's get into the first test, which is going to be with River Plate. So, if you didn't know, obviously before Simeone was actually at Atletico, he did manage at one point in his career River Plate. Now, the whole point of these tactic videos, what I like to do is only use the teams that they've managed, because it makes the tactic a little bit more personal to them. When I make a tactic based off no real sort of background, not based around a manager, I use any team possible. But in this scenario, there was only two real out there teams which come to me, which I find him somewhat relevant to, which is going to be River Plate and also Atletico Madrid. And also it helps keep the videos slightly shorter, because you guys don't want to be watching 40-minute tactic videos. I know you guys like to come, get the tactic, see how it plays, and then test it out yourselves. But this first season we had at River Plate was honestly incredible. We managed to win. Now, I'm going to butcher some of these names. So we managed to win the Libertadores, I think it's how you say that. The Liga Profesional, which obviously is actually the league. I've never actually tested in an Argentinian league. I don't know how Argentinian football works, but it's very interesting how the sort of style is laid out and what you play in a season. It's very, very different to any other league. We also won the Energy Trophy here, and also the Copa de Liga Profesional. So, to be honest, that is a quadruple winning season. Again, I'm not going to try and pronounce every single name, because I will end up butchering it, and I don't want to offend anyone. Now, as I said with this tactic, you're not going to score tons and tons of goals. Because in this league, we actually did, because obviously you've got Borja there coming in with 46 goals. But overall, you're not going to score loads and loads of goals per game, because this tactic, as you know, Simeone is a very defensive manager. He's a manager that loves to time waste, loves to wind up the other team and just try and counter attacks, gets the odd goal here and there. And to be honest, it does work. I believe now he might not even play the 4-4-2 as much, if at all, but this was my favourite time watching Simeone, when he laid out a 4-4-2, because you just knew that they would eventually get under the skin of whoever they were playing. But still, we managed to actually rank best in this division, scoring 51 goals and only letting in 13 as well. So ranking best for scored and conceded, which obviously means a pretty good rate of winning at the end of the day. If you're doing that, you're going to win most of your games. In terms of the squad then, as you can see, we've got a mixture of goals coming in. Borja, who is going to be our advanced forward, scored 46. We've got Matias Suarez scoring 23. 14 from Barco. This guy's actually on loan. 12 coming in from Quintero. Obviously, you guys will probably, if anyone, I hate to bring this game up when I'm making a Football Manager video, but Quintero used to be an absolute gem on the FIFA days back in the day. So as you can see, what I'm trying to show you here is pretty much the goals are fairly mixed from who scores. Your advanced forward is going to get a majority of the goals, as in he should stand out compared to everyone else, because he is sort of the only player in the team that doesn't really have to defend as much, if at all. In terms of assists, then, we've got 20 assists coming in for Quintero. We've got De La Cruz coming in with 14, 12 for Herrera, and Matias Suarez with 11. And to be honest, what you'll see in this is you're going to see assists coming from sort of different areas of the pitch, because this tactic isn't built obviously around possession, and not possession, sorry, around like tiki-taka and things like that. You will actually see yourself holding a bit of the ball in this tactic, because obviously the midfield is quite compact, but in terms of actual tiki-taka type of play, it's not how it's meant to be played. So it's not going to be the most prettiest football you're going to be playing, but it will get you results. If we go into the data hub then and have a little look, so a team attacking just over 2 goals a game, which is fine for this. As I said, we're not going to be scoring loads and loads of goals, so overall that is actually quite good, to be honest with you. Expected amount of goals per game, sorry, is sitting at 2.21 as well. So again, quite impressive. The shots on target ratio is going to be down quite a bit, because this tactic is definitely not about trying to find the perfect chance. It's about trying to find a chance. So at the end of the day, you will see yourself not necessarily scoring, you know, as I said, you don't expect to score these beautiful 1-2 touch, you know, tiki-taka football goals. This is about grabbing a goal and holding on to it at the end of the day. It's what he was known for, and that's what works so well for Atletico Madrid for loads of the years. But to be honest, if you look at this as well, pass completion's nearly 90%, so don't feel like just because this is a more direct counter-attack and tactic that it means you won't hold the ball and you won't have any of the ball at all, because when you do, the passing is actually quite good, sitting at nearly 90%. But going on then to team defending, and this is where I am really, really excited about this tactic, because we're conceding 0.252 a game, sorry, and this is exactly what we want to be seeing. Anything under a goal is brilliant for Football Manager and in real life, but this is all about defending this tactic. And the great thing about it is right from the get-go, you look difficult to break down, but as soon as you get a goal up, if you do, and you can, if you get a goal advantage, you see this team defend. And one thing I will say is, because it's not required with every single tactic, but with this tactic, when you're playing the games yourself, if you go a goal up, add time wasting into it, guys. Obviously, I don't have time wasting on right from the rip, but honestly, I have a bit of time wasting on from the rip, sorry, but don't have it all the way set to the max, like the highest amount of time wasting. Only do that if you're a goal ahead and there's probably, what, 30 minutes left or something like that, just to really seal the game out, because it does help a lot in this tactic. It really does, and obviously that's a big part of how Simeone used to play, big part of his philosophy at the end of the day. But let's hop over then to Atletico Madrid, which is his current side, as we all know, and see how we done over there. So even in this division, which obviously is a lot harder division to play in, and we're not the favourites, probably behind Real Madrid and Barcelona, we managed to win the BBVA title, or the Santander, by quite a convincing amount of points. And also we managed to win the Champions League, which is a huge accomplishment, against Liverpool in the final. So a very tough team to play in the final too, and we come out on top, scoring 97 goals, ranking us the best, and only conceding 24, ranking us the best again. So as I said, in terms of goals, you're not actually going to see, like, 97 might seem a lot, but I've created tactics where it's like 130. So you're not going to score a record amount of goals. I want to make that very clear. This tactic is perfect for a team that probably is Atletico Madrid, something like that, where probably you're not favourites to win the division and you don't want to, you know, get absolutely broken down at the back, but you also want that little bit of danger going forward. It's a perfect counter-attack and tactic. So if you're a team that's, you know, not guaranteed or not pretty much, you know, predicted to win, like, so for example, if you're in the Premier League and you're playing as, like, I don't know, a Man City, you could probably use a little bit more expressive tactics, right? But if you're playing as like a Spurs, or you're playing, you know, someone like that, or as like a Chelsea, something like that, Chelsea would be a good tactic for this, actually. A good team for this, sorry. Basically, this is, I would say, it's not an underdog tactic, but it is a tactic which can get results against the best of the best, as you can see there with Liverpool. Because on paper, right, you get Liverpool's team, you get Atletico's team. I would probably say Liverpool's team's better. I'm pretty sure we all would. But it all comes down to the system. And when you play a 4-4-2, hard to break down, Liverpool overcommit, we counter, get a goal, simple as that at the end of the day. The data hub then, team attacking. We've got 2.5 goals a game, so quite a lot of goals considering. Again, the pass completion is very, very high. In terms of team defending, a little higher in goals conceded, but still only, well, we're still under a goal a game. So that is the main aim, to not concede per game. And we didn't. As you can see there, the expected is actually higher. This is the reality. And do you know what? I'm very happy with that. A lot of clearances made per game as well. You are going to see quite a few fouls, because as you can imagine, this whole sort of, what's the word? This whole sort of wind-up style football does mean pulling people down on counter-attacks, little elbows here and there, and that's the whole point of this. It's to wind up the other team, get in their heads, and therefore that is when you, that's how this tactic works so well, by the way, is because they'll play a top team, and they'll get them rattled to the point where the other team will then end up probably overcommitting, getting annoyed as well, possibly getting their players sent off. And when they overcommit, and, you know, because if you imagine you're drawing to this Atletico Madrid team that you've been dominating, the other team's going to want to go for it. And that is when Atletico Madrid are probably at their best, because that's when they counter-attack, go and get a goal, and then the game's completely anyone's. And that is why it works so well. But I'm going to pick out a game from the schedule, and we're going to go and watch a little bit of 2D in-game gameplay and see how it does in-game. Before we do that though, guys, if you are enjoying this video so far, please do leave a like on the video. Be sure to comment below as well of who do you want me to do next, because I've got loads of ideas coming up. I've got loads of suggestions from you guys. I like to have a big list just so it keeps the content fresh. And please do subscribe to the channel as well and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload, a live stream, community post, etc, etc. But let's get into a little bit of 2D in-game gameplay. And this is going to be the game. Now, I'm going to show you what team they actually played, because I don't want you guys thinking they ended up playing a weak team and that is why this result got picked out. We beat them 4-0 PSG, and this was their team. It's full strength. You obviously got Navas, Marquinhos, Kimpembe, Ramos, Menz, Neymar, Wijnaldum, Verratti, Sarabia, Messi, and Mbappe. It's a full strength side. It's a full strength side indeed. And obviously, at the end of the day, when you're beating teams like this, it means, well, I mean, it's good. It's a good sign. And this is what I wanted to point out before we got into the game. We didn't dominate the ball in this at all. We dominated the stats quite a lot, to be honest, but the possession wasn't in our favour, because you don't need possession in this tactic to win games, is what I'm trying to point out. But let's load into this then, and we're going to break it down. We're going to start off, we'll pause it right from the rip, we'll change this to 2D, and what we're going to do is we are going to actually wind this back all the way to the start to see how it sort of shapes up. So obviously this is going to be your 4 at the back, pretty straightforward I'd say. Obviously we've got Lodi, we've got Jimenez, we've got Savic, and we've got Malena at right back. You then have this, and this is what I want to point out. The reason why we don't use wingers or, you know, inverted wingers, anything like that, is because this is the Atletico Madrid way. If you look at this here, obviously you've got your 2 central midfielders here, but these are the wide midfielders, and it's because then this midfield can be so narrow, and that is where you do see the ball being held quite well, and it's just hard to break through, because when you're defending, these sort of wide midfielders will probably plonk themselves sort of in this area of space here, this guy in this area of space here, because then what you're defending against is essentially a back 8, to be honest with you, because obviously you've still got your 4 here. So if you imagine this midfielder around this sort of area here, there's going to be almost 4 central midfielders, and that's a big part of the Atletico Madrid way, because they do play quite narrow. When they defend, it is quite narrow. Obviously the fullbacks will go out here and defend, but it's also very handy on the attack, because just because they look narrow now, Correa often will go out on the wing and get into areas of space. So there is a big difference in how this team defends compared to any other team, and it works really, really well. And obviously you've got your 2 strikers up here, which is going to be Griezmann and also João Felix. But let's actually go into some of the goals then. We're going to slow this, we'll have it about like that. Go to key highlights and let's watch this then. So it is going to be, where's the ball? There we go. Marquinhos says Verratti. And this tactic, by the way, there is a little bit of pressing involved. It's not all an out press, but there is a little bit of press when it comes to winning loose balls, etc, etc. So Sarabia with the ball there, number 14 right on him again. Verratti with the ball, plays it back to Kimpembe. Actually driving a little bit there. But look how defensively solid we are here. We're actually going to see it. So you can see, here we go, Correa actually sort of acting more of a central midfield position there. You've got DePaul, who's obviously a midfield player. You've got Llorente, who's a midfield player, drop back a little bit. And then we've got the left midfielder, or the left sort of, however you want to say it, is a little bit wide here. But again, he can drop back into here if the ball gets played into Sarabia. Verratti with the ball here, bit of press going on. Is he going to get past us? He does quite well there, finds a ball into the box, and it does go over. So that bit there was poor defending, being honest with you. But it was good to show you that, because you get to see how the shape is and things like that. And that is the main thing about it. We've got Lodi with the ball here into Koke. Again, there's usually quite a few options with the ball in terms of, you know, finding the right pass. So it's not all long ball, so don't think that at all. Griezmann with the ball here again, back into Llorente. Beautiful ball over the top. That is where that passing sort of distance does come in. Ball across, it's away. Mbappe on the counter attack. And this is where you can see us from counters. We didn't look vulnerable at all. We had plenty of players back. He's forced to play a long ball, and it's an easy clearance at the end of the day. We didn't have Malena with the ball on the break into Felix. Beautiful play there. Correa again, you're seeing him. He gets into these wide areas too. Same as where has he gone actually? He's going to be Koke. No, Koke. It's going to be him, isn't it? Where's he gone? That's not. Hang on, am I being blind? Where's the left midfielder gone? But Correa, João Felix, Griezmann. That's going to be Koke actually. It's going to be Koke playing on the left-hand side this game. obviously because I simulate the season, so I don't always pick the positions of the players. But Correa with the ball here plays it back into João Felix. Again, good pass and play, ball in the box. Good clearance from them, to be fair. The pull with the ball, that is a tongue twister and a half there. Llorente into Koke. Again, we're seeing quite good passages of play here. Lodi, ball into Griezmann, and just like that, as simple. Like I said, your fullbacks will be getting the ball into the box. Not all the time, but quite often, I'd say. And that is why, because when you've got two strikers, I always like to have the fullbacks at least getting a few balls into the box, because it genuinely does help sort of create some chances. It really does. Going in, it's going to look like another goal. Again, right here, it's not always lumping the ball up the pitch. As you can see there, Oblak actually did go short into Savic, over to Milena, looks for the option. De Paul comes a little bit short there to win the ball back. Drives, beautiful ball over the top into Griezmann, and he slots it in. And that run from Griezmann is absolutely sensational from him. And that puts us 2-0 up against Giants PSG, which a game which I didn't think we were going to win 4-0. And I'm surprised. It shows how defensively solid this tactic is, considering we actually managed to keep a clean sheet as well. Navas with the ball here then. Is he going to go long? What's he going to do? He kicks it long to Mbappe. Again, it's a poor goal kick. Savic picks it up into De Paul. Drives back into Correa. Ball over the top into Griezmann. And he tucks it in the near post. So that pass and directness, that, you know, how direct it is. The reason why with this you don't play on a much shorter or a shorter is because we've seen probably 2 goals now which wouldn't have happened if you have that on. Sometimes you need to hit a ball over the top. And it works so well when you have 2 players up top. It really does. So we're going to see a little bit of play here then, just starting off from the second half. Llorente, good spell of possession here actually. We're going to see how the ball can get played about, as you'll see in here. And again, this looks like you're playing a sort of possession style of play, but you're not really. But when it is needed, it can happen. A little bit impressive from the goalkeeper. Navas goes long. It's going to be a beautiful win there from Jimenez. Touches the ball down into Koke again, who finds himself in a wide area. So just because these are classed as wide midfield players, they only become narrow really when you're defending. Koke with the ball here then. It's going to go down the line back into Llorente. Ball over the top. Kimpembe does well, but he wins it back there into Koke. Good block again. Llorente back into Koke. Into De Paul. Again, this is what I want to see. I know the ball's here, but this is the good thing about the fullbacks as well. Milena, look at the amount of space here. So arguably in this scenario, the ball could have gone here. He pretty much had a diagonal pass to, you know, to Milena, could then probably put a ball across, and we would have had 1, 2, 3 players in the box really at the end of the day. We hit the post there though, and it looks like they do clear the ball. But no, I wanted to show you that because you get to see how important these fullbacks are in terms of the pockets and the spaces they get into. And this looks like it's going to be a pretty basic set piece, to be honest with you, if this does go in. I'm pretty sure it will. Come on, Lamar, step up. He does, and that is going to be the goal. So nothing to talk about really there. But no, I hope a lot of people do enjoy these sort of 2D segments of the videos. I know it was highly requested, and that's why I've started doing it. But let's get into the actual tactic breakdown now and some of the player roles. So this is going to be the tactic then. The Diego Simeone's 4-4-2. Tactical style set on custom direct counter-attack. Obviously, I build these formations literally from the ground upwards. Now, mentality I've got selected on positive because when I tested this on cautious and balanced, it was way too negative even for this tactic. You've seen how defensively solid we are on positive. Now, what I want to say about this instantly is if you feel like your team is going through a slump of not breaking down teams, even if you're middle of a game and you're not creating anything, and I mean anything, feel free to change this to attacking or very attacking if you really need a goal. Same as if you're, you know, really trying to hold on in the last 5 minutes, put it down to defensive if you need to. You have to tweak this as and when you want to. In terms of in possession, and we've got fairly wide on the width, we've got a higher tempo, sometimes with the time wasting, because again, it's a big part of this tactic. Mixed crosses, shoot on sight and hit early crosses selected on there. In transition, we've got counter press, counter attack as well, distribute quickly and take short goal kicks. Out of possession, the lower defensive line, pretty straightforward. I'm pretty sure you'd expect that from this type of tactic, and a standard line of engagement. Much more on the trigger press, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and get stuck in. Now, sorry about that. On get stuck in, if you guys are picking up a ridiculous amount of bookings, simply, bam, untick it, and that should help that a lot. But the whole point of this is to take the occasional tactical foul. As you can imagine, it's a big part of the tactic. Now, going into the actual player role, so this might look a lot of different positions. It might look a lot of a cluster, you know, loads of different positions, but this is the best way. This is the best way you're going to play with this tactic. Trust me. The sweeper keeper is going to be set on defend. I've never actually used a defend in sweeper keeper before, but pretty much it just means he isn't going to be as sort of not attacking. That's a weird word for a goalkeeper, but he isn't going to be as sort of out there. You know, come up and sweep. But he will still come out and collect balls and things like that. In terms of the right back, you want one fullback, which is going to be the right back in this case, on the support duty. That is going to be balanced on the press, get further forward, stay wider, run wide with the ball. Stay wider, most important thing you need, guys, for your fullbacks. That is why you saw that pocket of space that Molino had. You need to have the stay wider instructions selected for that. Standard with the directness and aim at the centre. Moving over to the left back, who is going to be a fullback, but actually on the attack. I personally found having one fullback on attack really did help. Having both left us vulnerable, so just have the one. Probably have your best attacking, so whoever's better at attacking out of your fullbacks, have that selected in that position, if that makes sense. Balanced on the trigger press, stay wider again, get further forward, run wide with the ball, standard directness on the passing, and aim at the centre. Two centre backs, both exactly the same, so I'm going to show you one. They're going to be central defenders on defend. These guys literally just want to be just brick walls. They don't have to be good with the ball. None of this. They don't have to be elegant. None of it. Just balanced on the trigger press, standard pass and directness, and obviously these circle themselves out when you select the defend duty. Now, you don't need any of this fancy ball-playing defenders in this system. It's never something they've really had, so don't worry about that. Moving over to what are, so they're not wingers, they're actually wide midfielders. And the reason why, as I did break down a little bit in that 2D analysis, the reason why you don't have wingers is because when you have a wide midfield player, they typically will drop a little bit narrower when you're defending, and that is how they defend. And that is what you want to be seeing. But we do have get further forward because you do want them getting further forward because they are your sort of wide players. Roam from position, I didn't have this selected, and I don't know if that is something which you class as a typical Simeone move, but this helped out so much. They got so more involved in the game. We held the ball better when you let them have a little bit of roaming in their game style, and standard pass and directness and aim at the centre. Exactly the same for this guy as well. I'll just show you again so you can copy it if you're not downloading these tactics. You can go balanced on the press, get further forward, roam, standard on the directness, and aim at the centre. Two centre midfield players, two centre mid positions as well. We've actually got one which is going to be on defend. This guy's definitely obviously your most defensive midfield player. You've got tackle harder selected, more often on the press. This is where you want to win the ball in the midfield so you can counter attack. Standard with the directness as well. This guy is going to be your more attacking, not too attacking, but support role in the central midfield. Mark tighter again, standard on the directness. Again, you want him on more often on the press. This area, I'll show you now, sorry. This area, this whole area here, across the four in midfield, that's where you want to win the ball. That's the most crucial part of the pitch. Win the ball back there, you can counter and you can go and score goals. Moving over then to what is going to be the two up top. We do have a deep lying forward, sort of the support striker, who still will score a decent amount of goals, don't get me wrong. Trigger presses on balance to roam from position again, just because that way he can roam out wide if he wants to. He can drop a little bit back if he needs to, and it just genuinely helps him out a little bit. Hold up the ball and standard on the directness of his passing. Now, this is the most selfish striker. This is going to be the real goal scorer. You want balanced on the trigger press, standard with the directness, shoot more often, and dribble more selected. This guy is going to be pretty much the only selfish one. You always need someone that doesn't really do the defending side of the game and just purely is a goal scorer. And this is where this guy is going to be in the advanced forward position. But that is going to be pretty much it for this tactic, guys. If you have enjoyed it, you think you want to use this tactic, please do leave a like on the video. Also, please do comment as well, and do subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. And if you guys do want to stay even in more touch with the channel, please do follow the social medias that are in the description. A few people have been hitting me up on Instagram and things like that now, saying they want their tactics tested. So if you guys have got your own tactic you want tested on this channel, I am going to be doing a video of viewers' tactics. So do get on Twitter, Instagram, any one of those will work. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.